All right, that's good.
All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we would like to give all praise, honor, glory to
YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM,
YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of great millstones taught us this truth. And salutations to the hopeful elect that's around the four corners of the globe. And the elect begins with 144,000. YAHAWAH, who the world ignorantly calls God and Jehovah. BAHASHAM is in the name. YAHAWASHI, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. The RAWCHAA doctrine is the Holy Spirit. We're the brothers of the great millstone Chicago account. I'm the brother YAHAWAH, joined with
Brother AHPARYAM.
Come back at you, brothers and sisters of the household of faith of the Hopeful Right Select with another lesson. And Lord, we hope this lesson be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. Once again, we hope this lesson is edifying. Just really talking about, what, inspired at camp today, man. We really touched upon a few points. And ultimately, you had an Edomite come up, a self-proclaimed white man. He looked at the sign. First he looked at the sign of the tribes, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And then he looked at, the sign, the part with the heathens. And then he seen himself. And ultimately, he ended up walking off and he was cut. So ultimately, man, Esau Edom knows he's losing. And Esau Edom knows that his kingdom is going down, man. A lot of these Edomites are ultimately, feeling it, man. But you got that scripture out?
Proverbs 28:1. The wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion.
All right, that's what this individual ultimately did, man. When the word came out, he was ultimately cut to his core, and he ultimately couldn't take it no more. He left. He went down the the garage steps, and ultimately what? He was really pissed. Because he ultimately muttered,
right,
something under his breath, man. I couldn't, decipher what he was saying, but ultimately you could tell he was visibly pissed, man. And it says what? The righteous are as bold as lions, man. Because you read, what's that, Wisdom of Solomon, what's that, 5? It says the righteous man stand in great boldness, to the face of him that such as have afflicted him, man. And that's what we're doing. We're telling this devil in front of his face that he's going down, and there's nothing that he can do about it.
That's right. There's Proverbs 14:6. A scorner seeketh wisdom and findeth it not, but knowledge is easy unto him that understandeth.
Mm-hmm.
So that guy was a scorner. All right, he's not gonna find wisdom. First of all, he shows his word unto Jacob.
Yep.
And statutes and judgments unto Israel.
They have not dealt so with any nation.
So YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, the God of the Bible, is only dealing with the nation of Israel, and beyond that, he's only dealing with the elect of his nation.
Mm-hmm. Because it even talks about, what have thou to do to declare my statutes? Because you got
let's
those.
get that.
Yeah, Bible shop can grab it real quick.
And then if I may read one more verse.
Yeah, Bible shop.
It says, "Go from the presence of a foolish man when thou perceivest not the lips of knowledge."
Right.
In him. So like,
yeah, con. Ultimately, we don't go back and forth with individuals that have no knowledge, man.
Yup, that guy was most likely an Edomite,
Yep.
which is the wicked. It says,
and what's so beautiful, that's how we're at the end of this man's kingdom. Going back to the 50s and 60s, if Jake would ultimately, even preach, this word, they will be what? They will be lynched. They will be, mutilated. All type of, wicked, detestable acts, man. But ultimately, as we had quoted the scriptures at Wisdom of Solomon 5, and we're ultimately telling this devil to his face that he's going down, man. Isaiah 63 says what? Prophesy against Mount Seir. That's what we're doing, man. And there's nothing that this devil can do about it, because prophecy is coming to pass, and there's ultimately nothing he can do to ultimately, to ward it off, man, or to stop it.
There's Psalms 50:16. But unto the wicked God saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth?
Right, so the ways of the Lord and His truth has nothing to do with these Edomites, man. Because you ultimately have a 74144, Carolina, you have a group of people over there in the land of Israel today, which are what? Edomites, Amalek, that's proclaiming to be us, man. That's ultimately what? That's trying to, they ultimately took our nationality, our heritage, and they're trying to proclaim it as their own, man.
Right. It said that thou shouldst take my covenant in thy mouth.
And it has nothing to do with them.
And beyond that, Edom in general hides behind the Bible and Christianity, and that, they so-called believe in God. God bless America, right? But they don't.
In God we trust.
Wow, that's the spirit. It's a Edomite flag sticker and says, "In God we trust." And but what? Obviously, they don't truly believe because they don't do anything that's in the scriptures.
Yeah, scripture says they're clean contrary.
It's just like a thing they put up. It says 17, seeing thou hatest instruction and casted my words behind thee. Right, so they casted the words behind them.
They don't abide by the law.
They don't abide by anything. They
abide by wickedness. Look what they're doing in the Holy Land today, man. Ultimately, what? LGBTQ. Ultimately, what? Pedophilia. Bestiality. Things of that nature, man.
War, bloodshed, slaughter. It says 17. Yeah, kind. That's it says, when thou sawest a thief, then thou contendest with him, and hast been partakers with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit.
And right, that's Esau's characters to a T, man. Deceit, bloodshed, war, ultimately all of that, man. Hey, just go back to the serpent in the garden, man. Came back as Cain, then eventually came back as Esau, man. Hey, this is this devil's MO, man. He spreads nothing but deceit, man. So ultimately when he's hit with the truth, man, that's why in 2 Ezra 6 it says what? Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which shall be so long without fruit shall be declared, man. So what? These devils can't take it. They can't handle it, man. Going back to that Edomite, that ultimately, that just couldn't take it, and he ultimately got cut by the word, and he just, went his way.
God, he was hurt. There's a little more I could. What do we have next?
The spirit of my mouth, brightness of his coming.
I got Psalms 50 and 20. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. All right, Jacob and Esau, Cain and Abel.
Yep.
That's the wicked in the generations. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself.
So essentially, these Edomites thought the Most High Yahweh was with them in their wickedness, man. Because what? They've been getting away with, a lot of things for so long that to the point that they thought that the Most High was with them, man.
Right. It says, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes.
And right, that's what the Lord is doing, beginning with this elect. The Lord is setting his people up, in correct order right before his eyes, man.
Right,
the Lord is waking up. Salakia.
No, you got it, Salakia.
No, it's all
we're talking.
Yeah, so ultimately what? The Lord, by the way of the word, is waking up his elect, his people, setting them in order. Ultimately what we're calling on the names of Yahawah, Shah. That's why in Revelations 11 it says, great fear fell upon them with saw them, man.
God. And, our nation being set back in order is ultimately beginning with the prophets going out there.
That's right.
Like we're about to read in Thessalonians, he's destroying this kingdom by the spirit of his mouth. And us being set in order is very scary to them. Because they're about to get their ass whooped,
Yep, they can't handle it because they know. Hey, because a lot of Edomites, they internally know that payback is coming for what they did to us, man.
Deep down, they know. It says, now consider this, ye that forget the Most High God, Yahweh, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. Whoso offereth praise glorifieth me, and to him that ordereth his conversation aright will I show the salvation of God.
Yeah, ultimately what? And that's really going into what? The elect, man. Because ultimately the elect will order their conversation right, man. Ultimately what? Cleave unto Yahawah, Shah, and ultimately to the best of their ability do the right thing, man.
God, let me go to this Thessalonians. The phone is tweaking.
Was that 2 Thessalonians 2, right?
Yeah, but let me just get in the Bible because bear with us for a second, but this is 2 Thessalonians 2. And I'm gonna just start at 6. And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. So what's the mystery of iniquity? Basically, who is Esau Edom?
Yep.
Like that book, Who is Esau Edom?
Yeah, who is Esau Edom? Yep.
That's the mystery of iniquity.
Yeah, but ultimately, even going back to the Roman Empire, when Jacob was, knew who they, when we had our heritage, we know who the Edomites were. We knew what they were, the wicked, but it wasn't really, mainstream to the whole world like it is today, man. So ultimately, everybody is coming to the agreement that Esau Edom is the wicked. He's the devil, man. The problem of the earth, the cancer of the earth.
Yep, the physician's gonna cut off that long disease.
Yes, right 10, yep.
This 2 Thessalonians 2. Now we're at verse 8, which reads, And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, the prophets, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Exactly right, man. Yep. So the spirit of his mouth, as the brother Ibaya said, hey, the prophets we teaching his word, cutting this devil, telling this devil to his face that his kingdom is going down, because by the word Esau is being exposed, and it says what? By the brightness of the Lord's coming, man. Because YAHAWASHI is literally going to make his second return and ultimately take this devil out of power, physically. It starts with what? The cutting up by his word, and then it ultimately ends with what? YAHAWASHI coming back and taking this devil out of power.
God. Real quick, Salakia. Let's see. Let's see what it says. This is Hosea 6:5. It says, Therefore have I shewed them by the prophets, I have slain them by the words of my mouth, and thy judgments are as the light that goeth forth. For I desire mercy and not sacrifice, and the knowledge of God more than burnt offerings. So, hey, the prophets are out there. The elect is going to hear it, order their conversation aright, and ultimately be shown mercy. But the 2/3 and the heathen are going to get slain by these words.
And that's another thing. Hey, speaking about the 2/3, you had a woman, a rude ass woman, and her man ultimately come back in the camp and said what? Read it in the Hebrew. Ultimately scoffing and scorning us, man.
The woman had shouted out, read it in the Hebrew, and the man was being led by this woman. He didn't correct her, and ultimately that shit was bugged out.
That's why 2/3 got to go right along with Esau Edom, because it says no hand join the hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished, man. Because you have a lot of people that's cleaving onto this man's system still, that's ultimately in agreement with Esau Edom, so they're going to be cut off with Esau Edom, man. That's the long run, so like
that. No, you good. Isaiah 47. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt be no more called tender and delicate.
Yeah, because ultimately what? By the way of this word coming out, we are exposing, Esau Edom, man. Ultimately, his wicked dealings, the things that he's doing. And ultimately what? America is being exposed to what she truly is, man.
Right, the virgin daughter of Babylon is America.
That's right.
The daughter of the Chaldeans. In ancient Babylon, the Chaldeans were the ruling class of, and they dealt heavy with magic and
witchcraft, all types of things. Yeah.
So you have the Chaldeans today. That's Esau Edom with his media, his deception, his pseudoscience, his pseudo medicine.
And right, and all these things are being exposed, man. It started with the word, but now you got these everyday people, just taking a 20-minute clip and then just dissecting it and ultimately exposing this man. Different things that Esau Edom is trying to do. These said things are being exposed, man.
Verse 2, take the millstones and grind meal,
Uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over thy rivers. Right? Getting it's exposed. That's a
Better way of the word, yep.
Poetic way of saying the exposure.
Yep. Because it's I think it talks about that. What's that? Jeremiah 49:10. I could be wrong. How this word is exposing Esau Edom.
You said Jeremiah 39?
49, I believe.
49?
Yeah, I believe it's Jeremiah 49.
Jeremiah 49:10 reads, "But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself."
Yes, being exposed by the word, man. So ultimately, with this word, Esau's character is being exposed, man.
His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not.
Because ultimately in this society, man, it says, you can read that last part again?
It says, Jeremiah 49:10, it says, "But I have made Esau bare, and I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not."
Right, because for the longest, everybody else, was getting, what's the way of saying it? Was getting judged for the things that they do, and Esau always escaped. But ultimately, we're living in a time where Esau Edom is being held accountable for the things that he's doing, man. He always got away scot-free for the different things that he has done, man. But ultimately, what the Lord is beginning to judge this man,
He's not able to hide himself. It says, Isaiah 47:3, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man."
Yeah, I will not meet thee as a man. Hey, YAHAWASHI is coming back in his ultimate glory, man. Spiritual powers. The Lord is going to come with the chariots. The Lord is going to ultimately destroy, this rulership, man. Destroy this man's kingdom. Because YAHAWASHI came lowly, he came as a lamb. He came lowly. What's that, sitting on the ass? Ultimately he's coming back to to devour,
Read anything else?
That was pretty much all I had, right now. You know what? Let's end it off with this one. I'm going to grab it real quick. And Lamentations. I read it during the line I count. This is the book of Lamentations, 4 and verse 21. And it reads, "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwelleth in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked." Right, says, "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom," because Esau still has a little tad piece of his kingdom left. Hey, as the brothers always say, go run up your credit card. Hey, do some foul shit as you always do. It says that dwelleth in the land of Uz, the cup also shall pass through unto thee. Right, the cup of curses, the cup of captivity, the cup of tribulation is going to come Esau's way. It says, "Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked." Esau being exposed by the way of the word. "The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins." And right, that's happening right now, man. Deuteronomy 30:7. The curse is coming upon our enemies, man. And this is the last captivity of the Israelites, man. Because after this captivity, we're going to be made perfect, man. In the eyes of Yahweh Shai. The Lord is going to make us perfect, so there's no need for us to go back into captivity. And the Lord is going to begin to punish Esau Edom, man. That's the Lord is doing right now, man. But on a more, heavier, way, man. But that's pretty much all I have, brother. Anything?
That's all I had.
Close this out. So with that being said, we hope this lesson was edifying. Want to end up again, all praise, honor, glory to
YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH.
That one honors to the elders and the apostles of great news. Number taught us this truth. Salutations to the hopeful elect that's around the four corners of the globe. Lord, we hope this lesson was edifying. Until next time, YASHARAHLA, Shalom, and Abba.
The water, bro.